Hey everybody, David Guido here, founder and CEO, Chief Encouragement Officer, DRG Performance Solutions, and author of the brand new book, What If? 30 Days to Powerful New Perspective. And speaking of books, have you ever found yourself in a conversation with somebody and they go, oh yeah, I read a book a month, I read every day. And you're sitting there thinking, well, how is that even possible? You must not be nearly as busy as me because I don't have time to do any of that kind of reading stuff, you know? Or have you ever said, reading? I don't have time for that boring thing. I don't want to do that. I want to go out and have fun. Because, I read in high school. I read in college. I'm all done with that now. I don't need that stuff. What if you knew that there were some tangible benefits, not only to you, but to those around you, those you love, those you work with, those that are part of your life? If you knew there were benefits to all of you to become a regular reader, might it be of more interest to you? When I was a kid growing up, I loved to read. I loved Sherlock Holmes novels, Agatha Christie novels. I'm dating myself terribly here, but but I loved reading. And then as I got into high school, I kind of stopped reading as often. And then in college, I read what I had to read. And then after college, nothing for 3+ decades. Yeah, every now and then I'd pick up on it. Every now and then I'd dabble in it. Every now and then I'd be like, I'm going to start reading again. And no, didn't last long, if at all. But as I've started on this new journey these last few years and I've gone down this new path, I've rediscovered that love of reading, and I've rediscovered how great it is to read every day and the benefits that come from it. Benefits that are amazing, and not only for me, but for the people in my inner circle, the people that I work with, the people that I know, the people that I can impact, the people that I can serve. And so that's what we're going to focus on this week. We're going to look at the 5 benefits to you and to all of those in your life to you becoming a regular reader. There's 5 incredibly powerful benefits for you to become a regular reader. That's first thing. Second thing that we're going to look at is how do you make that happen? If you're sitting there saying right now, well, geez, that's great, but I'm busy, I'm not going to have time. We're going to show you a very simple way, 3 strategies that if you implement immediately, you'll become a regular reader right now. And then last, a couple of styles of books. What should I read? And I've got 3 recommendations there for you. So let's get started right away. What's the benefit? What are the 5 benefits? And the first benefit is the health benefit, and specifically the health of your brain. The studies have all shown, especially in the last few years, that the brain is like a muscle and needs to be exercised. It needs to be worked. And so there's been a couple of really powerful studies done, and one that I want to make sure I quote directly from the Rush University, I believe Rush University Medical Center. They did a survey of, I think, 200 or 300 people. And they found, this is the way they worded it, adults who spend their downtime doing creative or intellectual activities, first and foremost like reading, had a 32% slower rate of cognitive decline later in life than those who did not. In addition to that, there was another study that was done with to determine the effects of Alzheimer's. And what they found was that older adults who engaged in intellectual activity, so that included playing games like chess and doing puzzles and stuff to get the mind working, but first and foremost there as well was reading. And the people who read and did these intellectual activities and played these intellectual games were 2.5 times less likely to develop Alzheimer's than people who didn't do those things. So what does all that mean? What it's saying is you got to exercise the brain. It's a muscle and you got to work it. We've talked about in a previous blog that as we get older, brain cells die. Well, reading and activity, brain activity, not only slows down or stops in some cases that brain cell death or decline, actually builds new brain cells. So you're working that mind, you're keeping it young, you're keeping it fresh, you're keeping it in shape. Obviously great benefit to you, but isn't that a great benefit to the people around you? As you get older, you get no less sharp and maybe even sharper. What a great benefit to you and to all of those around you. You become more valuable. You become more alive. You're alive longer, potentially. So the first benefit is that incredible health of your brain and the muscle being exercised when you read. Second benefit to reading is it relaxes you and reduces your stress. Another survey that was done, I believe it was the University of Sussex, I believe was who did the study. Here's what they found. Reading 6 minutes a day. Now we're going to ask you to read 15. Hold on. Hold on. We're going to ask you to read 15. Here's what the study found. Reading 6 minutes a day decreased stress by up to 68%. 68% in 6 minutes. Take all the stress you have, whatever that is, just in your mind, however you want to statistically total it up, think it through, and then cut 68% of it out in 6 minutes. What's that do for you? What's that do for those around you in the way that you relate to them? What's that do for your job performance? 6 minutes a day, 68%. And here's the best part. You don't have to step up to an over-the-counter solution. You don't have to step up to the bar for a solution to relax and reduce your stress. So that's the second benefit of becoming a regular reader. Third benefit is you learn more and your vocabulary expands. You become more intelligent. And all the studies show that people who start here at a base of intelligence, whatever that might be, and then read regularly end up with higher levels of intelligence. They know more, they've learned more, their vocabulary is bigger, it's better. They know more words, and how valuable does that make you to the people you want to serve, to the people you want to impact, to the people who pay you? So the third benefit is that increased knowledge, the increased learning, and the increased vocabulary that comes from being a regular and ongoing reader. The fourth benefit is the inspiration and encouragement that reading can give us. You know, there are books out there, and we're going to recommend that you read these. There are books out there that when you read them, they inspire you, they encourage you, they fire you up, they reignite that spark. You know, we all go through these periods where our spark is dim or even out. And the right book can fire that back up for you and get you going and motivate you and rekindle the desire. Increase your self-worth, your self-esteem, make you understand just how great you are. Tap into your passion, your purpose, your gifts, all these great things. And that's an amazing benefit from being a regular reader. And the fifth benefit from being a regular reader is our creativity and problem-solving skills increase. You know, when you're reading, whether it's fiction or not, a lot of times you're reading about people that are in challenging situations, that are faced with something, and they have to think outside the box. And it gives you more ammunition, it gives you more knowledge, it gives you more ideas, it gives you more to think about and draw from and experience when you need to be creative, when you need to problem solve, when you need to think out of the box. So those are our 5 benefits for becoming a regular reader. Your health, especially your brain, the relaxation and the reduction in stress without spending a lot of money and without it's easy for me to say, without relying on artificial things to help us reduce stress and relax. Oh, I'm having trouble with that one. The third benefit is that we learn more and that our vocabulary and our intelligence increase. The fourth is that we're inspired and encouraged. And the fifth is that we become better problem solvers. We become more creative by the more information we take in from reading. So those are the 5 benefits. Now, how do we make that happen? Because you're sitting there right now going, that's all great, and those are great benefits, and boy, I'd love to have all of those things. I got no time. Number 1, schedule time. And, you know, I have a great mentor who loves to say common sense is not always common practice. So if you're sitting there going, yeah, no kidding, right? you got to do it. You schedule it. And I recommend 15 minutes a day. Remember we said 6 minutes a day reduces stress 68%. So we're talking 68%. We're talking 15 minutes a day. And I recommend you do it in the morning. That's when I read. Now at this point, I'm losing some of you, right? Because you're like, yeah, that's great, but I got the kids and I got to sleep till that last possible minute before I roll out of bed and in a shower and this, that, and the other thing, right? If you get up at 5:30, get up at 5:15. If you get up at 6, get up at 5:45. 15 minutes, and that's your time. And you tell everybody in your house, this is my 15 minutes to read. And before you come up with an excuse about 15 minutes, let me ask you this. Is 15 minutes a day worth a healthy brain? Is 15 minutes a day worth less stress and more relaxation? Is 15 minutes a day worth increasing your intelligence, your vocabulary? Is 15 minutes a day worth it to be inspired and encouraged and always be on fire? Is 15 minutes a day worth becoming more creative and a better problem solver? Is it worth it? Does it help you become better to everybody in your life? Whether it's the people you work with or work for, but the loved ones in your life? 15 minutes. Isn't that worth it? The second way is that in that 15 minutes, we chunk our books. See, if I said to you, read 280 pages a month, you can read a 280-page book per month, you'd be like, now you're nuts. Right? Now you're crazy. That's 10 pages a day. In 15 minutes, you can read 10 pages. In 28 days, you've read a 280-page book. In a year, you've read 12 books. A lot of books are only 100, 120, 150, 170 pages. So at the end of the day, 10 pages a day is going to allow you to read 12 to 15 books a year. 10 pages a day. That's it. You chunk it down into 10-page segments over that 15 minutes. And the third strategy for how do we make sure this happens is we keep whatever book we're reading with us at all times. A lot of people get up in the morning and they'll roll over and they'll be like, I really would love to just lay here for another 15 minutes. Plus, my book's in the kitchen. My book's in the living room. My book's in the den. And you keep it on your nightstand. So that when you roll over, the book is there. That's the first thing you do. And you've already told everybody in your family, as we talked about earlier, this is my time. When you go out, you take it with you. Because there's times during the day where you're waiting somewhere or you're on a bus or a train or whatever, or just a few minute break from work. You can take that book out and you can read a couple pages. Absolutely. So you take the book with you everywhere. So those are the three strategies. You schedule the time, and I recommend first thing in the morning, 15 minutes. You chunk your book, 10 pages a day. That's it, just 10 pages a day. You'll end up probably reading more as you get into a good book, but 10 pages is all you need. And number 3, you keep the book with you everywhere you go. So what kind of books do you read? A lot of people are like, well, that's great, and I see the benefits, and okay, that makes sense. I can probably schedule 15 minutes a day and read 10 pages, and that's all cool. But what do I read? How do I get back into it? And there's 3 types of books. The first are books related to your business, books related to your calling in life. If you're in sales, read sales books. Whatever it is that is going to help you grow professionally, so that you can become more valuable, make more money, whatever the case might be. So stuff related to your profession, your calling. The second are those personal development books, that inspire you, that encourage you, that lift you up, that give you that spark, that motivate you when you're feeling down, or when you're kind of in that when you're in that slump. Then you read one of these really good books that inspire and encourage you. And the third are interests, passions, light reading, typically. Let me give you a perfect example. This year, we're in September, we're in early September, and I've read 9 books this year. I'm working on my 10th, so I'm actually a little bit ahead. A lot of those books have been about business, since I'm running my own business, and A few of the books have been inspirational to encourage me, to keep me motivated, keep the fire burning. And then in the middle of all that, I think in May or June, June, I read a book on Phil Esposito, the hockey player. I'm a huge hockey fan. I'm a huge Boston Bruins fan. So I read Phil Esposito's autobiography. So a lot of people will tell you, you should always be reading inspirational material and you should always be reading stuff about your calling. And I can understand that. But my recommendation is you do a little bit of everything because you're well-rounded. You'll learn from everything you read. And breaking up the routine by something that's a little bit lighter, if you're into mysteries and Sherlock Holmes, or you're into Stephen King, or whatever it is, something to break up the routine and a little bit of a diversion is good for your brain as well. So those are the 3 kind of books. So the 5 benefits, to recap the whole thing, the 5 benefits: your health, especially your brain, relaxing and getting rid of stress, learning more and more intelligence, higher level of vocabulary, inspired and encouraged, and a better problem solver, more creative. Those are your 5 big benefits to being a regular reader. Okay? Schedule the time, 15 minutes a day. Chunk your book, 10 pages a day in those 15 minutes. Carry your book with you everywhere you go, whatever you happen to be reading. Make sure you're reading books about your profession, your business, your calling. Make sure you're reading some books that inspire and encourage and lift you up and keep you moving, keep you motivated. And then every now and then throw in a light book. Throw in a book that is just kind of fun for you, whimsical, plays into an interest or a hobby or a passion. And if you do those things, that's part of the well-rounded life that we call the So Good life. So thank you again, as always, for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reading. Please share this with people that can be impacted and served. I pray that this serves you. I pray that this impacts you. I pray that it makes a difference. I would love to hear your stories. Share with me your reading stories and how this helps you and maybe takes you to that next level. And then share it with people who you can make that kind of impact and serve as well. And until the next time, go out there every single day, discover something new, learn something every day, reach for your dreams, go for it, and your life will be so good.